The Whispering Grove of Eldoria. Prologue, the Call of the Ancient Forest. In a time beyond memory, when the earth was young and the veil between the seen and unseen was thin, there existed a vast forest known as Eldoria, deep and mysterious. Its ancient trees stretched skyward, their branches weaving a soft, endless canopy that filtered the golden light of the sun into a gentle, perpetual twilight. It was said that within Eldoria, every leaf and every whisper of the wind held secrets of old, a secret language passed down from nature's first heartbeat. Legends told of a benevolent spirit that dwelled within this enchanted grove, a guardian whose essence was woven into the very fabric of the forest. This spirit was neither fully mortal nor entirely divine. It was the forest itself, a living, breathing sanctuary that healed the weary and rescued the lost. Those who wandered too far from the safety of their homes and found themselves amid the emerald labyrinth of Eldoria would soon discover that the forest had a way of drawing them back to life, gently guiding them through paths lit by soft moonlight and the quiet luminescence of fireflies. Chapter 1, The Wanderer's Sorrow. On the outskirts of a small village, where the wild meadows met the ancient woodlands, there lived a young woman named Alina. Her eyes, the color of gentle twilight, were often filled with a sorrow that seemed too deep for words. For many years, she had cared for her ailing mother, sacrificing her own dreams for the sake of those she loved. Yet, despite her kind heart and quiet determination, Alina felt an unnameable emptiness, a longing for something beyond the narrow confines of her world. One crisp autumn evening, as the sky blushed with the fading warmth of day and the first silver stars began to twinkle overhead, Alina wandered to the edge of Eldoria. The villagers whispered that the forest was magical, a realm of wonder and mystery that could ease a troubled spirit. Uncertain yet drawn by an irresistible call, she stepped beneath the towering oaks and gentle pines, leaving behind the familiar for a promise of solace whispered on the wind. As she entered the forest, the air changed from the sharp chill of the evening to a caressing warmth that seemed to envelop her like a soft blanket. The path ahead was dappled with light, and the trees swayed slowly, as if dancing to a melody only they could hear. Each step felt both deliberate and effortless, as though the forest itself welcomed her with open arms. Alina felt the heavy burdens of life begin to ease from her shoulders. Here, among the rustling leaves and murmuring brooks, the world slowed, allowing her a moment of respite. Unbeknownst to her, the deep forest of Eldoria had already sensed her pain and was beginning its ancient, gentle work of healing. Chapter 2, A Gentle Encounter. Deep within the heart of Eldoria, where the canopy formed a soft twilight even at midday, Alina came upon a clearing that shimmered with an ethereal glow. The ground was carpeted with moss as soft as velvet and dotted with delicate, luminescent flowers whose petals glowed like miniature lanterns. In the center of the clearing stood an ancient willow, its long, graceful branches caressing the earth. Beneath its sweeping boughs, a quiet figure was seated, a figure who seemed to be one with the forest. This figure, known only as Elias in the whispers of legend, was the human embodiment of Eldoria's caring spirit, with eyes that mirrored the calm of a deep, undisturbed pond and a smile that radiated quiet understanding. Elias had long served as the forest's gentle guardian. He was not a mighty warrior nor a sorcerer of fearsome power. Instead, he possessed a quiet magic, a gift of empathy, healing, and the ability to guide lost souls home. Noticing Alina's cautious approach, Elias opened his arms in a welcoming gesture. His voice was soft, like the rustle of leaves in a midnight breeze. "Welcome, dear traveler," he murmured. "I see the weight of the world upon your heart. Here, in the embrace of Eldoria, you may find the rest and healing that you seek." Alina, whose heart had long yearned for solace, felt tears welling up in her eyes. "I have wandered far in search of peace," she confessed in a hushed tone. "I fear I have lost my way, both in the forest and in life." With a tender smile, Elias beckoned her to sit beside him on the soft moss. "Close your eyes," he whispered. "Listen to the heartbeat of the forest, and let its gentle rhythm guide you to where you belong." As she obeyed, the sounds of Eldoria enveloped her, the soft murmur of a nearby stream, the gentle sigh of the wind, and the rhythmic whisper of the ancient trees. It was as if the forest itself was singing a lullaby of hope and restoration. Chapter 3: The Dreams of Eldoria. That night, as the silver moon cast its tender glow upon the forest, Alina slept soundly beneath the protective boughs of the ancient willow. In her dreams, she journeyed through vast groves of luminescent ferns and over sparkling streams that wound like silver threads through a tapestry of green. Each step in her dream was accompanied by soft, harmonious notes that seemed to echo the wisdom of ages past. In her slumber, the forest revealed visions of its storied past, a time when Eldoria was not only a sanctuary for mortal souls but also a realm where myth and magic intertwined freely. She saw images of ancient celebrations under starlit skies, where the forest dwellers danced and sang, their voices merging with the songs of the trees. In these dreams, the forest was both protector and healer, a gentle giant whose embrace could mend even the most fragile of hearts. When morning came, Alina awoke with a sense of wonder and calm that she had never known before. The dew on the leaves sparkled like tiny jewels, and the air was imbued with a subtle fragrance, a blend of wildflowers and ancient earth. The gentle rhythm of Eldoria had woven itself into her being, and she felt an inexplicable connection to the land that was both timeless and tender. Before long, Alina discovered that the forest did more than merely soothe her sorrow, it had begun to transform her. She noticed that her steps were lighter, her thoughts clearer, and her heart brimming with a quiet hope. The whispers of the trees, the laughter of the brooks, and even the soft rustling of the leaves became like a constant, reassuring companion, a reminder that she was never truly alone. Chapter 4: The Call to Rescue. Eldoria was a realm of gentle magic, but its benevolence was not confined to healing hearts alone. For deep within its verdant depths, the forest was known to rescue those who were lost, not only in body but in spirit. It had a mysterious way of guiding those in distress towards safety, often by means unseen by the human eye. One cool, misty morning, as Alina strolled through a sun-dappled glade, a soft cry reached her ears. It was a sound of desperate yearning, a plaintive call for help that seemed to come from the very heart of the forest. With her heart quickening, she followed the sound, each step guided by the gentle murmur of the leaves. The cry led her to a narrow, winding path obscured by hanging vines and mossy stones. There, near a small, sparkling pool, she discovered a young man, pale with fear and shivering in the cool morning air. His clothes were tattered, and his eyes were wide with terror. He seemed as though he had been wandering for days, lost in the labyrinthine woods of Eldoria. "Please, help me," he whispered, his voice trembling as if it carried the weight of 1,000 sorrows. "I have lost my way. I do not know how to return home." Without hesitation, Alina knelt beside him, her voice as soft as the rustle of the forest. "You are safe here," she murmured. "Eldoria cares for all who seek its refuge. Come, let us find you shelter and the guidance you need." Together, they followed a winding trail lined with gently glowing mushrooms and delicate wildflowers. The forest seemed to shift around them, opening secret pathways and illuminating hidden clearings. It was as if Eldoria itself were orchestrating their rescue, guiding them with silent, benevolent purpose. As they walked, a young man, whose name was revealed in a quiet moment of trust to be Rowan, began to recount his tale. He had been separated from his companions during a sudden and fierce storm, losing both his way and his hope. Now, drenched in despair, he had been wandering the forest, clinging to the faint belief that somewhere within the deep woods lay a path to salvation. Alina listened intently, her heart aching with empathy for his plight. "Rowan," she said softly, "sometimes the greatest rescues are not fought with swords or magic, but with the quiet strength of compassion and the gentle guidance of nature. Trust in the forest, and it will lead you back to where you belong." Chapter 5, The Heart of the Grove. Over the following days, Alina and Rowan journeyed together deeper into Eldoria, discovering hidden groves and secret glens that pulsed with an otherworldly beauty. At every turn, the forest revealed its timeless magic, a dance of light and shadow, sound and silence, that soothed the soul and eased the pain of loss. One mist-laden afternoon, the pair reached the heart of the grove, a vast, circular clearing surrounded by ancient, towering trees whose bark was etched with runes of old. In the center of the clearing lay a crystalline spring, its water clear as glass and cool as the whispers of midnight. Here, the forest's magic was most potent, a gentle force that seemed to resonate with the very essence of life. It was said among the oldest tales that the crystalline spring was the source of Eldoria's healing power. Its waters could mend a broken heart and restore hope to those who had forgotten the beauty of life. Alina, feeling a deep reverence for the ancient lore, knelt by the edge of the spring and cupped her hands, letting the cool water trickle over her fingers. As she did so, she sensed a warm, comforting energy radiate from the depths, a reminder that the forest was not merely a passive witness but an active, nurturing guardian. Rowan watched in awe as the light from the spring danced across the clearing, illuminating the delicate ferns and mossy stones. "This is the heart of Eldoria," he whispered. "It is where the forest gathers its strength and spreads its grace to all who wander here." In that serene moment, as the sun dipped low and bathed the grove in a soft, golden glow, Alina realized that the forest's gentle rescue went beyond guiding lost souls home, it healed them from within. With each step in Eldoria, each gentle murmur of nature, she and Rowan found that the wounds of their past were slowly mending, replaced by a tender hope for a brighter tomorrow. Chapter 6, The Dance of the Willows. Nightfall in Eldoria was unlike any other night under the stars. As darkness gently settled over the forest, the willows and oaks began a slow, graceful dance. Their leaves whispered lullabies in the cool night air, and the forest floor glowed faintly with bioluminescent fungi that cast a soft, serene light. It was a time of quiet reflection and healing, a time when the forest's magic was at its most tender. One cool evening, as Alina and Rowan rested in a small clearing beneath the graceful boughs of a weeping willow, the forest seemed to come alive with quiet wonder. The rustling leaves formed patterns of light and shadow, and in the distance, the soft cadence of a hidden brook provided a soothing accompaniment. It was as if the forest were singing a lullaby meant to ease the worries of any weary soul. "Listen," Alina whispered, her voice mingling with the gentle chorus of the night. "Hear how the forest sings to us. In its song, there is a promise that no matter how lost we may feel, there is always a way back to the light." Rowan closed his eyes, letting the soothing sound of nature lull him into a state of peaceful surrender. In that quiet moment, the burdens of his past, the storm, the fear, the loneliness, began to dissolve like morning mist under the gentle rays of dawn. The deep forest of Eldoria, with its timeless wisdom and gentle heart, was not just a backdrop for their journey, it was an active participant in their rescue, guiding them toward inner peace with every soft note and every rustling leaf. As the night deepened and the forest continued its gentle dance, the two travelers found themselves cradled by nature's timeless embrace. The stars above twinkled like ancient beacons of hope, and the soft murmur of the forest promised that even in darkness, light was never truly lost. Chapter 7, The Whisper of Ancients. In the days that followed, as Alina and Rowan continued their gentle sojourn through Eldoria, the forest began to reveal even deeper layers of its ancient lore. In the hushed groves and hidden hollows, they encountered echoes of the past, whispers of ancients whose wisdom had long since become one with the earth. They came upon a circle of ancient stones, half buried in soft moss and illuminated by the gentle glow of twilight. Here, inscribed in delicate runes upon the weathered surfaces, were verses that spoke of a time when the forest was young, a time when nature and man lived in harmonious union. The inscriptions told tales of the forest's sacred duty, to rescue those who had lost their way, to heal the deepest wounds, and to remind all who wandered of the eternal beauty of life. Alina traced her fingers over the smooth carvings, feeling as though she were caressing a memory of the ages. "These words," she murmured, "speak of a promise, a vow made by the forest to all who seek solace in its depths. It promises that no heart shall remain lost, and no spirit shall be forgotten." Rowan, equally moved, nodded. "Eldoria is not merely a place of trees and streams," he said softly. "It is a living testament to the power of compassion, the resilience of hope, and the beauty of nature's gentle rescue." In the quiet of that ancient circle, The forest spoke to them in a language older than time, a language of rustling leaves, dancing shadows, and the soft, ever-present hum of life itself. And as they listened, they realized that the forest's promise was not just a myth but a living reality, woven into the fabric of every gentle breeze and every tender ray of light that filtered through the canopy. Chapter 8, A New Dawn. As weeks turned into quiet months, Alina and Rowan's journey through Eldoria brought them not only healing and solace but a new understanding of what it meant to be rescued. They had come into the forest as wounded souls burdened by loss and fear. Yet they were emerging as individuals transformed by the soft, ceaseless magic of nature. One bright morning, when the dew still clung to the delicate petals of wildflowers and the air was filled with the sweet song of birds, they found themselves at the edge of the forest. Beyond lay the familiar world, a world where the scars of life had once seemed insurmountable. But now, as they stepped toward it, they carried with them the gentle light of Eldoria, a light that promised renewal, hope, and quiet strength. Alina looked back one last time at the deep, embracing green of the forest. "Thank you, Eldoria," she whispered, her voice full of gratitude and wonder. "You rescued us, not with grand gestures of fire and fury, but with the soft, enduring promise of your heart. I will carry your song with me always." Rowan, his eyes reflecting the calm of a restored soul, replied, "And may we never forget that in every moment of darkness, there is a gentle light waiting to guide us home." With that, they stepped forward into the new dawn, their spirits forever intertwined with the magic of the deep forest that had, in its quiet, timeless way, rescued them from despair. Chapter 9, The Legacy of Eldoria. In the years that followed, the tale of Eldoria, the enchanted forest that rescued the lost and healed the wounded, became a cherished legend among the people of the land. Parents would whisper the gentle story to their children at bedtime, and travelers would recount their own quiet encounters with the soft magic of the deep woods. The forest was no longer feared as a wild, unknowable place. It was embraced as a sanctuary, a refuge for those who needed solace and a gentle reminder of nature's enduring compassion. Alina, now a gentle healer in her own right, would often wander back to the forest, not out of desperation, but to seek the quiet companionship of the whispering leaves and the soft murmur of the ancient streams. Every visit was a pilgrimage, a chance to renew her spirit and to remember that even in a world filled with sorrow, there lay hidden, in the deep heart of nature, a promise of rescue and rebirth. Rowan, too, found that the lessons of Eldoria remained with him. He became a storyteller, sharing the myth of the gentle forest with anyone who would listen. His voice, calm and resonant like the soft rustling of leaves on a summer's night, carried the message of hope far beyond the boundaries of the deep woods. And in his tales, the forest lived on as a quiet hero, a guardian whose healing power was not measured by the clash of titanic forces but by the simple, tender act of guiding a lost soul back to life. In the soft twilight of every evening, as the day's shadows mingled with the first hints of night, the people of the land would look toward the horizon and remember the gentle, unyielding promise of Eldoria. It was a promise that no matter how far one might wander, or how heavy the burden of sorrow, there was always a place where the forest whispered lullabies of hope, where the rustling leaves sang of gentle rescue, and where every heart could find a safe haven beneath the ancient boughs. Epilogue, the endless lullaby. Now, as the soft cadence of the forest's eternal song drifts across the land, the myth of Eldoria continues to inspire. It is a myth not of epic battles or towering heroes, but of quiet compassion, tender care, and the gentle art of healing. In the deep forest, every tree, every stream, and every whisper of the wind is a reminder that nature itself is a guardian, a living testament to the power of kindness, the resilience of hope, and the timeless promise that no one is ever truly lost. So, when the world feels heavy and your heart longs for a quiet refuge, close your eyes and imagine the gentle glow of Eldoria. Picture the soft moss beneath your feet, the cool, clear water of the crystalline spring, and the tender rustle of ancient leaves that sing a lullaby just for you. In that sacred space, you too can feel the deep, unending embrace of the forest, a reminder that, like the timeless myth of Eldoria, you are never alone, and that there is always a gentle light waiting to guide you home. May the whispering grove's lullaby bring you peace, and may the gentle magic of the deep forest forever be a beacon of hope and healing in your heart.